are the Maronii team. We hope you appreciated our film. Let's dive together behind the scenes.
Our film takes you through a journey along a little river in French Guiana.
We follow a small local fish and discover its beautiful and unique habitat as the fish faces the challenges of wildlife.
Being in charge of the environment, we also cared about the movie's main look. We spent a huge amount of time gathering references from the internet, books or real places, such as the Parisian tropical greenhouse or aquariums. The research work of Guyane Whitefish, a local association, and the book Poisson de Guyane from Frédéric Melki were important references that helped us a lot to discover and understand this biotope. With Lucas's help, I painted most of the concept arts, trying to stay as close as possible to the actual setting, but also to bring our own cinematic references and artistry into the film.
This dense environment was quite challenging. It took me a lot of testing time to figure out the appropriate workflow through Vire and Houdini. Getting a realistic underwater look was demanding. So we split the scene elements like FX, animation and lighting in order to optimize each individually. Handling long realistic scenes with a lot of moving elements required good organization and optimization. To help us fill the different environments with plenty of assets, we produced them procedurally as much as we could while creating most close-up assets by hand.
As organic molders, one of our challenges was to sculpt all the fish as realistic as possible. In order to fit the overall look of our movie, references were essential to create an accurate anatomy and details. I was in charge of the main fish, and his small size was one of the parameters to consider. We simulated the transparency effects under the light and played with the subsurface capturing. To bring extra life and naturalness into our movie, we did a parcel color variation into our wild fauna inside Mary.
In order to achieve realistic fish scales that wouldn't be too heavy in terms of rendering, we decided to do it in displacement. After several tests, I've decided to work with a procedural workflow using Mary Extortion Pack. I recreated a pattern of the scale in Photoshop and I tweak it in Mary. When the results suit me, I export it and reproject it on the fish to be able to see the flow and the deformation of the body. With this technique, I could achieve the right flow, shape and number of scales. It also allowed me to use this map with my OSL shader and create an iridescence that could fit with the bumpy shape of my displacement.
To gain more control and create additional randomness in my fish scale, I used Flore workflow in Mary and adapted it. This allowed me to use gradients and normal to tweak the size and the flow of the scales pattern procedurally, and to achieve the realistic randomness that was required for this bigger and scarier fish. My second character was the larva. To create the macro illusion, I duplicate the outer mesh and use it to create transparent shell effect. I also use a constant backlight to achieve the realistic transparent look.
As I did both rigging and animation, I developed an auto rig to optimize my workflow. The most challenging part was the fish fins. We want them to move automatically without much computation. I went for a dynamic system to save our FX artist time. Since animating in underwater condition can be counterintuitive, I gathered many references from real-life diving footage and animation films. I did tests to find balance between staying true to the reference and enhancing it for storytelling. Understanding underwater drag and weight was the key to achieve a believable animation.
I was in charge of all the effects of the movie, since they were really diverse, from procedural setups to fluids, particles and volume simulations. I decided to shoot my own references for each one of them. This allowed me to better understand how to approach and to mimic all those processes, and it gave me all the information I needed to bring life into the environment. The trickiest part was to coordinate the effects of many different elements together with animated fish in a complex underwater setting. That's why I decided to use the power of PDG to help me iterate faster over multiple parameters, while running several caches that were interdependent.
Thank you for watching. We hope you had a good time with us.
Bye!